Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real-life media products? During the production of my media product, I used, developed and challenged multiple forms and conventions using different horror films. First, to start my production, I looked at various opening sequences, those of which included The Ring, The Grudge, The Exorcism of Emily Rose and The Conjuring. I compared and contrasted the differences and similarities of them all and used it as a starting point for my own product. I, as the editor, had the role of ensuring the product reflected a real-life media product. I did this by including concepts of real media during editing. One film which I took as a starting base was the film The Ring. This film had a similar plot, therefore I decided to take inspiration from this and reflect it onto my own product. I found that an effective aspect of the film was the way in which the scenes transitioned. They would use short scenes and then use quick cuts to transition into the next one. In my media product, you can see this at the beginning when the girls are simply walking. The camera movement is slow, but the way in which the scenes transition, it makes it feel as though it's fast-paced. I believe this adds a more eerie feel to the sequence and it does not allow it to be dragged on as it is constantly changing. One aspect that I challenged during editing was the way in which I used title screens. Most of the opening sequences which I had seen only contained footage, but I thought an interesting way to transition slides and to challenge the usual media products would be to add title screens. At first I had around 5 title screens, but I was told it made it look too much like a trailer. Therefore I narrowed it down to only 2. This allowed a nice transition and added a slightly darker atmosphere, as one of the titles said it was based on a true story. Finally, a convention that I developed was the shots. In one opening scene, I encountered a rapid movement of a scene. Instead of including only one scene, I decided to use several still images of the location and cut them down so that they would last no longer than half a second. I then placed them all after each other. This produced a sudden change of pace, making it more frightening for the viewer. I believe the main focus of my product was to follow conventions. Reason for this is I tried to replicate the same type of mood and feeling which real-life media products gave off. In terms of sound, we used different already made sounds as inspiration. The sound which we attempt to replicate and slightly alter can be found on YouTube under the name of Time Splitters Hotel Theme. Although this was slightly challenged, it followed real-life media conventions. Both editing and camera shots reflected each other and were both predominantly done with the use of following real-life media products. Our product consisted of mainly tracking shots, close-ups, medium shots and over-the-shoulder shots, which can be seen in many opening sequences. This was taken from films such as The Ring, The Conjuring and The Grudge. Lastly, the majority of mise-en-scène definitely followed the convention of real-life media products. Example of this includes the plot and the props. The plot consisted of a very traditional storyline, one which was mainly taken from The Ring. Both the props and plot reflect this, as it includes the discovery of something which then leads to a curse. This does not challenge nor develop real media products, but instead imitates them.